Yo, how's it going? It's Hunter. I want to start out this video by saying I don't want you to jump to conclusions and start to blame the first thing that pops in your head when you hear about what I'm going to say. I think truth will actually be much clearer if you reserve judgment until the end and just realize what I'm saying is my experience being my age growing up in this era with this technology and all these specific things. And today I wanted to talk about my upbringing and just a little bit about how it's different than ever before. And I actually had a chat today with my parents. And, for 1,000 years, 2,000, for literally ever, information, pretty much all of life was in the family. Like your parents would tell you how to get a life or would teach you how to, it's just natural, it's biology. Your parents teach you everything they know and then you try to make a better life. Well, in today's world, what's different is we're not getting married young like our parents did. That gives you a lot of purpose. When you're married, it's like, oh, I'm a wife now. Oh, I'm a husband now. There's some purpose. There's an avenue for people to go through. There's an avenue for people to exist and have some identity. The same thing is usually when you have a spouse, you would have kids. So then next to natural step would be, oh, now I have a parent identity I can live through and go through life as. And that's kind of how our parents knew it. Like that's the modicum. And they had a job and they had a career maybe, and then that was it. Their purpose was basically given to them by life and how the way the system and society was set up. But what's different about us is nothing's given to us anymore. We're not, like, the majority of us aren't married. The majority of us don't have kids. The majority of us work a job we don't like or in a career we have no desire to be in, and we're just stuck. And it's all, and like the problem isn't about, oh, our parents screwed us, or like, oh, is this people's fault, or this system's fault, or this is technology's fault. It's more of just an entire disconnect of generations. Like our parents literally are not equipped to give us the advice that we need. But unfortunately, the only people that we can trust is family in this world, because everybody else is looking to get ahead. Everybody else is looking to sell you something. Everybody else is looking to deceive you for money, because the system, is squeezing everybody. And so we're kind of in this really weird spot where I think it's left a lot of young people blaming a lot of things. And you've heard some of my videos. I think technology's done a number on us. Like, yeah, technology is an amazing thing, but for the untrained mind, it's not. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm talking about. Growing up, I was told things like, and this is natural, every parent tells their kid at some point or the other, when you're older, you'll understand. When you're older, you'll be told. When you're older, you'll get it. When you're older, you'll have the responsibility, like so on and so forth. Now, this is no fault of their own, but in my head, in my child brain, in my developing brain, I interpreted that as, okay, when I'm older, then I'll finally be an adult and I'll have all the things that I want in life, because I want to be an adult, like every kid wants to be, right? But for me, technology kind of invaded that, and it distorted it. And I'm not saying it was intentionally done. I'm just saying that's my experience. And what I mean by distorted is I took that and I took the idea of you'll get it when you're older and ran with it. And I basically said, okay, well, the most efficient thing, what do I like to do? I like to play video games. I like to be online. So I'll just use my technology to pass the time while also doing what I need to do to like pass and graduate school. And then boom, before you know it, I'll be an adult and I'll be happy, and that'll be exactly everything I wanted. Yeah, that shit was fucking a lie. Yeah, I didn't realize that I missed out on so much of my childhood because of that. And like I said, it's no fault. Like, it's really my fault at the end of the day, even though I was just a kid. I didn't know what I was doing. Point being, technology basically influenced my life in a way, and it caused me to, how do I say this? Basically, it's like a form of technological autism. That's the only way I can describe it. You know, they're socially awkward, like everyone's anxious, everyone doesn't have all the same sheer volume of social experiences, and that lack of social experiences causes this anxiety within people. It causes people to question themselves. There's nothing for the human brain to pull on and be like, okay, we're good, we've been here before. Because for a lot of people, they miss those times. Technology was in their life, and it basically stole time away from them being a kid. And like, it's so hard to explain, because it's not that you can't blame a kid, because like, they're a kid, like they don't know any better. And it's hard to blame the parents because they don't know technology. They have a job, they have a career, they're distracted with life, with spouses, and if they're a single parent, they're trying to date. Like, they're just trying to live their own lives too. And as we get older, we kind of understand that more and more. But the point is, it's like technology came at a time where parents had no idea how dangerous it was, and kids had no idea how dangerous it was. And those dangers were in the minds of the adults was one thing, and the dangers in the minds of the kids was something else. But in reality, it kind of slipped through the cracks. And now we have a bunch of kids who have grown up in a generation with all this like technological autism, like I said. And there's no marriages, there's no relationships, everybody hates each other, everyone hates their job, nobody really understands or knows what's going on. And it's because there's no life experience. It's like technology has stolen it from us. And like I said, I'm trying not to push blame. And I know my language sounds like I'm trying to push blame, but I'm just like, I don't know how else to explain it. It's more like an imperfect storm. Like, our parents didn't know any better. Us as kids obviously didn't know any better. And then people who made technology, I don't think they were like, oh yeah, time to infect our youth with something so we can have this grand, 40-year master plan. Like, that sounds completely insane, right? So I think it's more of like, they just made a product that is really awesome for a lot of people, but it caused a lot of issues that are not being talked about. And that's because when something with that much influence and power and how much money has been invested into technology, the downsides are going to get downplayed. That's just how shit works. That's how every power system has worked. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is just to bring some awareness to it, because I don't even know what the answer is. I feel bad for my parents. I feel bad for the older generation, our parents, because they really didn't know any better. And I bet a lot of them feel guilty after they've seen the outcome of what's been happening over these last like 10 years or so. Because now, as technology, as they've embraced it more, they are starting to see how like addicting it is. They're starting to see how much it influences their lives and how it influenced our lives. But they just don't really know how to talk about it. And most of them don't even realize it, because like I've said before in other videos, us that grew up with technology, we understand, like, we've had it for 20 plus years, we get it. We've been using it as a core part of our lives for so long that we kind of can see past the veil. We understand how it works a lot better, but with the boomers, they just know it's like a fucking, they just know it's an entertainment, right? But that's not the point. The point is, I don't really know. I just hope that a lot of people out there aren't blaming themselves or stuck in a negative loop of just being angry at the world, because that isn't going to change anything. You're still going to have to wake up tomorrow, and the only thing you can actually do that can progress you is be a little bit better today than you were yesterday. If you're 1% better every day, it's impossible for you not to be better in a year. So God bless you. I love you all. Peace.